Hey guys, Matthew here. In this video I want to talk to you about why Boolean tools might fail, and there's a whole series of reasons, and this reason is perhaps maybe the least intuitive of them all, but at the same time the most nonsensical. It's quite a strange kind of reasoning, but this comes down to the way that computers begin to understand geometry. So I'm going to draw a circle. And I'm going to make a point. I'm throwing a point in here. So this circle is my dartboard, and this point is a point, right? It's my dart, and my dart has hit this point. And the question is, what is the probability of me hitting that point? So I'm not that good at darts, but let's assume I'm good enough to always hit the board. So there's a 100% chance that I'll always hit within this circle. If I draw a line, and cut it into the left and right, so there's a 50% chance that I would hit it on the left side and a 50% chance that I would hit it on the right side. And if I keep going with this logic and say, okay, well, then there's a 25% chance that I'd be in the upper quadrant and a 25% chance that I'd be in the lower quadrant, and I keep going again, and I draw a line at a 45-degree angle. So let me just rotate that by 45. There we go. And there's a 12.5% chance that I'd be in this quadrant and a 12.5% chance that I'd be in that quadrant. And as you can see, what will keep happening is as I keep rotating things, 22.5, I'm getting less and less probability that it'll be at this spot. And what will eventually happen is that, well, the limit of this kind of thing will go to 0. So it's kind of this idea in the end that the probability of hitting any point on a dartboard has a probability of 0, which seems counterintuitive. So an easy way to get around this, which the computer does, but not for these exact same reasons, is that, well, that's pretty so having a probability of 0 is a bit of a problem. What if we drew a really, really small circle around it and said, well, if you hit anywhere there, that's good enough to be that point. And then the probability becomes the area of that circle divided by the area of the larger circle. So there's a kind of idea of ishness with geometry, and things are close enough. Some things can be close enough to intersecting to be intersecting, for example. So that's the analogy with a dartboard. Let's have a look at how this plays out with the Boolean tools, just so you're aware. So I guess the most basic issue with intersection is that the objects don't intersect at all. So Boolean union, nothing happens. The objects do not intersect. Pretty obvious that they don't. So let's move this a bit closer and try again. The objects do not intersect. Now, I'm going to get this as close as I can. I'm going to zoom in a whole bunch. There we go. And I'm going to not let it intersect, but just have it, try and not have it related at all. There we go. Can I get it a bit closer? No. Okay, so that'll be fine. So I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to Boolean union that. And it'll say the objects do not intersect, which is true, and you would expect it to fail. But if I go to Tools, Options, and I can up in Document Properties and go to Units, and I can up the absolute tolerance to a ridiculous number of 1. And if I try Boolean union again, when I type it in correctly, it works. And that's a bit of a weird one, right? So these objects clearly don't intersect, but I can make them intersect by changing the tolerance of the file. And this is how the dartboard comes in. It's like, so the way that RHINO understands geometry is it's not in an absolute place all the time. It's kind of got an ishness about it, in which it's like, if you're close enough, that's good enough. And at the moment, 1 unit is kind of a good enough of an ishness. And this is set to default to 001 or 0001 or something. So if you're having issues with intersection, especially when you're trying to intersect things on edges, for example, like let's undo that, like this, where something is clearly intersecting on a very straight edge, and if that kind of assumption of how close I am to this thing is out, it might fail. So in that instance where you're doing joins like this, it might fail, and to fix it you could come in and play with the tolerance of the file. So this is one of the ways that Boolean union tool can fail. Next video I'll go through a far more kind of complex one, and it's a bit more problematic, but it will come up a lot more often than this, and it's a lot harder to solve. So I'll see you in the next video.